Hey guys, welcome to my first podcast ever with a guest. Today I'm going to be interviewing Pauline Gisele. She is one of my really good friends here in Bali, and she also is a hormone expert, and she's also a hormone coach. So Pauline, can you please tell us more about who it is that you are and what it is that you do?
Yeah, gosh, I have an obsession with hormones and
Yes.
understanding
She also
patterns
made me very obsessed.
and understanding the patterns, that we go through as women. Like women fascinate me, and I grew up with four brothers, so I like now just understanding how women think and feel and the reason why they're saying something. It's kind of a game for me to figure out where a woman is in her cycle. I'm like, oh, you're probably here because yeah, women are so predictable.
It's fun.
It's so fun. It's my own little game. And yeah, so I help, basically what I do is I help women balance their hormone cycles naturally, helping women get off hormonal birth control.
Yes.
And to have painless periods, to really love all stages, all phases of their hormone cycle, and to understand the thought patterns, the emotional patterns, the digestive patterns, the physical patterns, and how to really thrive as a woman with the energy and just be the queen that you are.
Amazing. So tell me, how did you get into this world? Because obviously, as a woman, it's something that I learn about a little bit, maybe in school, maybe I hear a thing or two on YouTube or on social media, but I never really was taught, the depths of what it means to track your cycle and understand it and live in harmony with it. So how did you get involved?
Gosh, I guess the very first thing was my aspiration to be a doctor. So I knew I wanted to be in this like healing world. And,
I wanted to be a doctor too at some point. Yeah.
and yeah, medicine and just the human body fascinates me. And when I got my period, I had 2-week-long periods. I had debilitating cramps. And
When did you get your period? Like what age?
I think around 13,
Okay.
13, 14.
Wow, that's young, I think. I don't know. I got mine in like the first year of high school. So I don't know if that's late.
15.
Yeah.
No, I was in, me, it was middle school. So, it was summer between middle school and high school.
Amazing.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
And it was painful for you.
Yeah, and 2 weeks long. And I was like, I do not want to go through half my life
Yes.
on my period.
Yes.
And so, because I thought, this is what a lot of the times we think is that when we have something that we're suffering, that we're doomed with it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me, you don't even need a period. That's for old time's sake.
Wow. She actually said that to you.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that a doctor said that you don't need a period. See, it saddens me. That is how out of touch we are with our bodies. Yeah. Go on.
And what the system teaches.
Yes.
As well. And so, yeah. And since I wanted to be a doctor and this information came from a doctor, I idealized and idolized this person. I was just like, wow, whatever you say, it's correct.
Yeah.
So then I started, and she prescribed me the pill. And she's like, yeah, you can even take it for days on end and not even get your period.
That's what I did for the longest time, which is bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a real period anyway when we take the sugar pill, but it's still, it completely disconnects us from the natural cycles that we were programmed with. So, and then I was going around telling all my girlfriends to get on the pill, and we don't even need a period.
Oh my God, no.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm my worst enemy now. And so, I went on 10 years of hormonal birth control.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. It was, but, I'm here today.
Exactly.
And doing the work that I love. And so I had to go through that. But, and I did pre-med. I studied pre-med. So I studied 4 years of anatomy and physiology, chemistry, organic chemistry, biology. Never did we learn about hormones and the female hormone cycle. Maybe a little bit about like insulin, alpha, beta, like hormones going up and down and things like that. But
that's more than I learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Nothing that like was actually understandable on how that actually affects our thoughts and our emotions.
Yes.
And for a woman. And I later found out that 95% of research was done on men. So there's very little research done on women. So all the things...
Isn't that crazy? Like almost all these studies that we hear that come on Instagram and Twitter that we, like the biggest one is fasting. It's like they're mostly done on men and barely for women. And women shouldn't be fasting just like men do every single day for as long as they do. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So most of the research that I read about, like, yeah, do the carnivore diet, do the keto diet, like, do intermittent fasting. We can do that at some parts of our cycle, but not all.
Yes.
So anyways, I then later went into a few classes in medical school, and I would sneak in actually because I was like, I'm not ready yet to fully commit to the stress and the financial like commitment to years of not sleeping and being this like just didn't make sense to me that doctors were the ones not getting sleep and they were over stressed out, and then they're supposed to perform surgery on you.
That is crazy. Yeah, it so makes no sense.
I you know, for me, being a doctor needs to embody health. So that's what just didn't make sense to me. Yes. So at first I would sneak into a few medical school classes.
That's really cool. I really like that. What a great idea.
Just to be like, do I really want to learn this stuff? And so, yeah, I went to a few classes, and all we were learning about was what pharmaceutical drug to give.
Wow.
And I would raise my hand and be like, well, why do they have diabetes? And they said, no, you don't need to learn that. You just need to know what pill to give.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, yeah, no, I'd rather know what the root cause is, not just keep putting Band-Aids and covering up the symptoms while the actual root cause is just still going on, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I'll just keep it until you know, then I have to get surgery or whatever it may be. So I ended up quitting that path of becoming a Western medical doctor, and I went traveling, and then later I went to Australia. I met my housemate who ended up being my boyfriend, and I was traveling the world, and I was working remotely. I was having the dream life that I thought was my dream life. And I was just still sad inside, and I was like, what's wrong? I feel like unfulfilled and depressed. And then my boyfriend at the time told me like, well, maybe you should quit birth control.
Wow. And your boyfriend told you that. I'm interested. So okay. Why would he do that?
Yeah, because he knew that hormones, like hormonal birth control, like affects.
Wow. For a man to do that, because a lot of the times they're the ones that are scared, and they don't want to deal with the fear, and they don't really usually are educated on what happens to us when we're on those kinds of hormones. So it's really nice that you had a partner that understood that more than you at that time. Totally. So that's awesome.
Totally. And I'm forever grateful for him. I'm so glad we're still friends. We're not together anymore, but so grateful.
Wow.
And so I came off hormonal birth control 6 months after meeting him, and I went through a year of depression. I lost half my hair. I had no idea what was going on, and I was like doing my favorite things. I was going to the museum, I was going to the botanical gardens, I was with the person I love, and I would just cry for no reason. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Yesterday I was so happy, and today I'm sad.
I can so relate to this.
Now I know that, you know, there's ovulation, and then estrogen drops after ovulation, and so we have to be aware of that. But at the time I'm like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And thankfully, his sister-in-law came to me, and she's like, Pauline, you know that we have these hormonal changes. And she showed me this app called the Hormonology app, which unfortunately is no longer existing, or she's like quitting it in the next, like by the end of this month or something. But Hormonology basically showed me like, oh, your emotions will be like this, you'll be less hungry, and you'll feel like this and think like this. And I was like, what?
Yeah, we're predictable?
What? How did I never learn this as a kid? Like, first of all, my dad's a natural doctor. My mom is a woman. I studied 4 years of anatomy and physiology. Like, how is this not at all a part of sexual education?
It's mind-blowing that it's not. Like, that's the first thing that we should learn the second we, touch puberty.
Totally.
100%.
Totally. This is how your mind and body works. This is how you live with it.
Get ready to understand so that you can live a better life. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not something that we're taught.
Optimal life by using certain energy, or like certain levels of energy, and certain like focuses on things, and just, oh my God, life-changing information. So I'm really excited to tell you more about it.
Yeah.
Because it turned into my passion and my obsession.
Amazing.
And my so that, I'm so grateful to have gone through, yeah, of course, like the trauma of going through depression and losing half my hair. And yeah, it sucked in the moment, but I truly believe that however low you go, however dark you get, like you will equally go as high and light.
That's like my life motto.
Same, yeah.
You just, that's the way life works. You go up and then you go down and then you go up and you appreciate the ups because you were so down.
Yep.
I have such a similar story to you with my birth control experience, actually. I started birth control just when I think, barely turned 18. And I started it because I, from day one, had irregular periods. The second I got my first period, I didn't see it for like the next 4 months, and then the next 2 months, and then the next three. So I was very regular. And then I went to the doctor during my yearly physical checkup, and I let him know that I hadn't seen my period in a while. And he's like, let's get you on the pill. Let's regulate you because that's just something that you should do. And I said, okay. I didn't really fight it because also at the time I had just gotten my first ever boyfriend. So it was like, this goes hand in hand. I should probably get on it. The crazy part to me is I remember just asking, like, what will this do to me? What are the side effects? Like, should I be worried? And the reason why I had kind of like the intuition to ask those questions was because my mom had the worst time with birth control. She was so affected by it, and I would always see her have mood swings. She'd cry. She'd be like, I'm depressed and I don't know why. She'd constantly change her birth control because she knew that that was messing her up. So I was a little afraid to go on it because I already had these preconceived ideas of what it would look like for me. But I just ultimately decided, like, the doctor knows best. I should just do it. So I did. And the second I took the pill, the first year I gained like 10 pounds. And I was just 18, and it wasn't my normal weight that I usually am. So there was that. And then I got a bunch of acne, and I had mood swings, and I just felt gross. I didn't feel myself. So after a year, I went off the pill. Also, I could not take it on time. Like, I was the worst at that. And I decided to take the NuvaRing. And actually, that worked for me for a while. It wasn't bad. The only side effect that I would get from the NuvaRing was that I would wake up with stomach aches every day, which is not okay. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to ignore it. I really just ignored it. But it was really painful. I would always just wake up and it would be so much pain. So I did that for about 2.5 years, and then I stopped my relationship, so I got off of birth control, and I remember feeling so great, like being off of birth control for the first time since being 18. And then I got with my current partner, and I started birth control again, and I went back on the NuvaRing, but this time my experience was very different. It's just changed. I don't know if, I guess my body just changed, but the second I took the NuvaRing, I gained a lot more weight. I got the mood swings again, and I felt terrible. So I got off of the NuvaRing, and I wanted to change. And I thought, okay, I had really bad. I tried different birth controls, the pills, the NuvaRing. I refused to take anything else just because I started to kind of understand that birth control is not the best for me. And so I went, and my last try was the non-hormonal copper IUD. And I thought, okay, this is my last chance to try again. This is non-hormonal. It'll be fun. It'll be great. And they just warned me that this is crazy. It would take 6 months for my body to accept this. You're just going to have to suffer, and you're just going to have to accept it. It is what it is. It's normal. Everybody goes through it. Your periods will increase with bleeding, like an insane amount. And you're just going to, all these crazy things will happen to you, but it's normal. Just wait 6 months. So I did. I was desperate because I really just wanted to feel safe because I wasn't educated at that point enough to know that there are different methods. And I suffered for 6 months through my hormonal copper IUD. And oh my God, my periods went from the most beautiful, light, short periods to an extremely heavy period where I literally had to use like a tampon and a pad at the same time for the first day or two because it was that heavy. I was losing so much blood. I felt like I was dying. The pain was not, it was the worst. I could not handle it. I would take an entire bottle of Advil. I couldn't do anything for that whole week that my period was here, and it would last up to 10 days. And then halfway through my cycle, I would bloat. My whole body would just swell. Like my rings wouldn't fit, nothing. My clothes wouldn't fit, my bras wouldn't fit. And I suffered like that, just thinking that it'll get better in 6 months. 7 months later, I have had enough. And I don't think I've ever said this in public, but I was at Burning Man and I had pain in my uterus and I don't know why. And it got so bad that I had to leave Burning Man early. And I went to the hospital and I went to the emergency room and I said, hey, something's going on. Like I'm feeling a lot of pain. And turns out that my fallopian tube had gotten infected from the IUD, and it had scarred. And they were like, we're going to have to take out your fallopian tube through emergency surgery. It's swollen up 3 to 5 times its size. And there's so much going on down there. We just got to take it out. And I was preparing for surgery. And then last minute they came in and said, oh, actually, because it's, C19 restrictions, like you're not in a life-threatening condition, even though you should totally seek medical help now, but it can't be through, in a hospital because we have other people who are actually dying. So we're just, you have to go with your gynecologist and do this like tomorrow if you can. And I actually had to fly to Canada because I couldn't find an appointment in America. And I got it taken out. And that from that moment on, I had crazy hair loss. I fluctuated in weight, and it took about a year for me to finally feel stable enough where now I feel good, but I'm still dealing with the after effects of it. So that's my story with birth control.
You got the copper IUD taken out, not your fallopian tube.
Yes. No. I still have it in, actually, and I'm still figuring out how to deal with it because it flares up every now and then where it kind of just like gets big and it swells and it is painful for me to deal with, but then it goes down. And there's no like rhythm to it. It just happens whenever it wants to. So I'm working on that currently with Pauline, and it has been going well, but I do notice that stress sometimes brings it on. So I've lately been extremely stressed out, and it's actually currently not feeling well, but it was feeling well for a good part of like 6 months, which is nice. So yeah, this is one thing that I've been working on with Pauline. So that's my story with birth control.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how even the copper IUD, it's like, well, it's non-hormonal, so we think it's a better option. Mm-hmm. In a way, yes and no. The other thing is just that it's a foreign object in your body. It's like a piece of metal that, like you said, your body is rejecting it for 6 months, and so you have extremely painful periods and like heavy bleeding, and it's just you can get copper toxicity.
That's what I got. Yeah.
So it's still not the best option for preventing pregnancy. And there are so many other just natural methods about just learning and empowering yourself to understand when's a good time to have sex, when's not, in terms of preventing pregnancy.
Yeah.
And
that's a big topic that I can't believe, I've gone to the gynecologist many times, and I remember asking like 10 different gynecologists, do I have other options? Do I really only have all the birth control options that I've tried? And they all said unanimously, this is your only hope. It just is what it is. And, the first time that I spoke to Pauline, she's the one who enlightened me with all these different methods. So can you bring up maybe like some of the different methods that are available to us?
Yeah, for sure. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, so my favorite at the moment is the cervical mucus. Just reading.
Really? Okay, great. And Tell us about it.
Yeah, so your cervical mucus will change throughout the month. So we have 4 phases of the hormone cycle. So there's menstruation, there's the follicular phase, and then there's ovulation and the luteal phase. So menstruation is when you're bleeding. It's about 3 to 5, 6 days. Then once you stop bleeding, you're in the follicular phase. And this is kind of like your inner spring. So inner winter is your menstruation, then you go into inner spring, follicular phase. That'll last about 10 days. And then you ovulate. Ovulation is just 1 day. And then it's like when the egg gets released. It's that one moment for 12 to 24 hours that you are fertile.
So technically just 1 day that we are fertile.
You are fertile for 1 day.
Yeah, we take birth control for the entirety of our fertile period in our life. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then we enter the luteal phase, which we want to have at least 10 to 11 days of luteal phase to have healthy progesterone levels. And this is based off of like a 28, 29, 30-day cycle. So we're in tune with the moon, but whereas men, they're in tune with the sun. They have a 24-hour hormone cycle, and that's what hormonal birth control puts us in as well, is this, it's synthetic testosterone. So if you're taking the pill, it puts you in a 24-hour hormone cycle, just like men using synthetic testosterone. But coming back to cervical mucus, during menstruation, you have blood. So that's what's coming out. It's very obvious.
Yes.
And then in the follicular phase, so once you've finished bleeding up until ovulation, your cervical mucus will be this creamy white.
Yeah.
And you're actually in a dry phase. You're not fertile, and that cervical mucus, the white, creamy white cervical mucus, actually acts as a barrier for sperm. Then the day that you ovulate, and maybe even the couple days, it changes. You have different types of cervical mucus, and so it changes from this creamy white into this raw egg white, like this clear, sticky, raw egg white. And you can put it between your fingers, and it will just stick,
kind of like goop, or yeah.
And so that's when you're like, oh, sweet, I've ovulated, and you're feeling amazing. You have this high energy. You're super social. You're like, I'm abundant, and I'm feeling great, and life is wonderful, the best day ever. Yes. So that's ovulation. And then, super important to know, but right after ovulation, we have the post-ovulation estrogen drop. And this is before, when I was going through depression, is the like, I was so happy yesterday, and now I'm so sad. That's because you ovulated yesterday and you're fertile, and then boom, estrogen takes a dip. You've entered the introverted phase of your cycle, the luteal phase, where your hormones are crossing their fingers that you got pregnant for about 2 weeks before your period. And so during this phase, you're again in your dry phase, and this is when your cervical mucus will be creamy white as well. And so this is a great method of just being aware of where you are in your hormone cycle. And so when it's creamy white, you're not fertile. When it has that raw egg white, sticky, clear cervical mucus during ovulation, that is when you are fertile. Now, women, we are fertile for 1 day out of the hormone cycle. However, sperm can live inside of you for up to 5 days. Yeah. So if you have an app to track your cycle, it usually gives you a window of about a week, maybe 10 days, where they say, like, avoid sex during this time if you are trying to prevent pregnancy. Otherwise, like after ovulation, all the way up until a week before you ovulate, like, you're not fertile. Like, there's no possible way that you can get pregnant.
Wow. Yeah.
And so it's really important as well to know when you ovulate and to start tracking your cycle of like, okay, I ovulate on day 10 of my cycle. It might be a little bit early, but maybe you have a little bit shorter of a cycle, maybe 25, 26 days, which that would mean you're not making enough progesterone. And so you can do things to optimize, kind of like this is like biohacking for women, of just understanding how to be at your optimal fertility, even if you're not planning on having kids, because that's how we're programmed. Yeah. It's literally like we are in this meat vessel, this meat suit, just to reproduce. Yeah. And so I really see life as a video game. Like we are this character, and how can I make my immune system the best? How can I make my energy the best? How can I make my just everything, my mind, my body, the best possible, so I can move through this game of life. Yeah. In the best, like, as the best character, That's
so true. That's the way I look at it as well. I can't believe, though, honestly, that even just recently I found out that we were fertile for only 1 day a month. And that was maybe like a year ago or something. But my whole life, I just thought that I could get pregnant my entire cycle. And a lot of women don't know that either. I mean, there's such little education and information out there. Or there's a lot of information, but it's not widely available as it should be in schools and stuff. So thank you for explaining that. And there's also like the temperature method that helps along with that as well.
Yeah. There's one more thing I would like to add. And you've probably, a lot of you might have, or some of you might have heard of, having the rare chance of getting pregnant when you're on your period. Yes. So just to speak about that, your cervix, so basically you have your vagina, and so the vulva is what is on the outside. Your vagina is the canal where the penis goes into. or your fingers, but then, the penis or your fingers will reach the top of your vaginal canal.
Yes.
It hits something. So what stops that is your cervix. And then above that is your uterus. So that is where the IUD gets inserted into. Is the
So
uterus.
painful. Yeah.
And so that cervix will actually move up and down throughout your hormone cycle.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. You were the one who taught me that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm aware, I'm like, wow, that's so true. And it affects everything. It affects intercourse, how you feel, so many things.
Totally.
So this is something that I'm so grateful that I learned from you.
And so when you're bleeding and when you're ovulating are when your cervix is open. It's when you're bleeding, it's to let the blood out from the uterus. Your cervix needs to be open. But then your cervix will also be open when you're ovulating to let sperm in, to fertilize you, basically. So there are 2 times in your cycle where you can potentially get pregnant. And the reason why you can have this rare chance of getting pregnant when you're on your period is because, again, sperm can live inside of you for up to 5 days. So let's say your cycle is a bit shorter, or you ovulate really early, like let's say on day 8 of your cycle, and you have sex on day 3 of your cycle, and your cervix is open, and you're still bleeding, and so sperm can go inside of you, and then boom, you ovulate early, and that sperm was already inside of your uterus for that early ovulation. So however, if you have balanced hormones and you have a regular cycle in tune with the moon, and I say in tune with the moon as in between 27 and 32 days, the moon cycle is 29.5 days. And yeah, like we are nature. We need to remember that we are nature.
Yes.
And just like the plants, just like animals, we have this animalistic side of us that just wants to reproduce. And we need the right amount of sunlight, the right amount of nutrients from the soil, the right amount of water.
We're like a plant, yeah.
We are. We totally are. And then we bloom
Yes.
to become the most beautiful flower for one day out of the month to be like, hey, come impregnate me.
Yes.
And let's procreate.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, there is that rare possibility of getting pregnant on your period. And then, yeah, your cervix will move up and down. So you'll notice if you make love on your period, is your cervix will be at its lowest. And so when you emotionally feel most vulnerable and sensitive, that's also when your cervix is lower, and making love will be more sensitive, and also just like, oh, like the penis hit like too hard or something, and it's really sensitive. Whereas your cervix will be highest when you are ovulating.
And why is that? Isn't it supposed to be the opposite, because you're trying to become impregnated when you're ovulating?
Yeah, but I feel like also maybe there's something with like the drive of the masculine energy going like as deep as possible.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's how I understand it.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I also thought about that. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be closer? But yeah. So you can also check your cervical positioning. That's another method of seeing if you're fertile or not. Is my cervix really high up, or is it really low? And you can check obviously by washing your hands, having clean fingers, fingernails, and inserting 2 fingers up and noticing and kind of tracking.
No one has ever told me that before. The fact that I have not been told that before, with all of these options to understand how fertile I am and where I am in my cycle, like, it's mind-blowing. And it gets me so excited to share this with so many people, because we should all be educated, you know? So this is awesome. So that's another method. And if you combine all of them, obviously, like, you're chilling, like, for the most part.
The more methods you use, like, when this whole umbrella term is called fertility awareness method. And so the more fertility awareness methods you use, the higher percentage. And it's amazing. You just get to learn more about your mind and your body, and having a better connection with yourself. But in Western society, like, there's such a taboo about genitals, sex, your cycle, menstruation.
Yeah.
Like, God, I dated a guy for 2.5 years who was like, oh God, blood. Like, we can't have sex if you're on your period. And then I had the arm implant.
Oh, I'm too scared of that one.
Yeah.
I told myself I would never get that one. I can't believe
I bled for
that one.
6 months. So I basically wasn't able to be intimate with my partner for 6 months. He wouldn't touch me. It was just like
that's
such a
terrible.
Yeah. And it's like, this is a natural, bleeding, not that I was being natural by taking the implant or the arm and having the arm implant, but like, you know, to be shamed for bleeding.
That's the worst part, is that we are so shamed. I remember in school, whenever I would get my period, I'd be like, okay, how do I secretly get my tampon or my pad out of my backpack or my purse so that nobody notices that I am bleeding? Like, it's crazy. And also my family, it's kind of a taboo subject in a sort of way. And yeah, I never talked about this to any of my friends or anybody freely, except for the last few years. I've become so much more in touch with myself and who I am and my femininity, and it's been the most amazing thing ever. So yeah, I love just bringing awareness to this, because it's a must. We must be in touch with our own selves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the word taboo actually comes from the Maori, the New Zealand Maori tribe, tapu, which means sacred.
Wow, no way.
Yeah.
So it's sacred.
It's sacred.
But yeah, people taboo it.
Exactly. But it meant like the men allowed and let the women who were bleeding together be like, oh, they're having their sacred moment. Let's go have our bro time.
Wow.
And because, yeah, let's, you know, this is when we're bleeding, this is when we're most connected to source. It's literally that moment of death to rebirth.
That's everything. Such an interesting concept, and I never thought about it that way, really. It's been only recently with you and just educating myself that it's a sacred time in your life, that in that time of month. And it's so sad that for the longest time I used to be grossed out by it. I spent all those precious, valuable years thinking how gross I am. Oh, I'm gonna bloat. And by the way, you don't have to bloat on your period. It's because your hormones are imbalanced. That's something that I learned through Pauline. And, you know, I even have friends who are, they're valuing their sacred time by even utilizing their blood in many different ways. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, or if you want to touch on it. I think it'd be interesting to talk about something super taboo.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Should I talk about the temperature method first?
Yes, please do. I'm getting into it. But please let's educate more.
So quickly, there's the temperature method as well, and so that's when you're taking your temperature under your tongue every single morning before getting out of bed. That's when you have your basal temperature, and so the moment you get your period, your temperature drops, and then after you ovulate, your baby's in the oven potentially, so your temperature will go up. And so this is doing the temperature method, and there's apps like Natural Cycles. I used that one for many years, and yeah, again with tracking your cervical mucus and things like that, there's good ways of tracking it. So yeah, but getting into the taboo of like using your menstrual blood as like medicine. It's such medicine. So if you're on hormonal birth control, you don't have a real bleed. It's
I also thought that was great. It's not a real bleed, which is weird. It's just induced by a pill.
Yeah, basically that's why like doctors, they say, oh, you're gonna regulate your period, and it's just kind of, it's like, no, it's not.
It's fake. You're forcing something that's not natural at all.
Yeah. And so if you're preventing ovulation, which happens when you're taking the pill, so there are different forms of birth control as well. The IUD allows you to ovulate. However, it completely inflames your uterus and your cervix.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that sperm cannot live inside of there. However, then there is, or it just makes the uterine lining just not a place for the egg to sustain in. Then there's the pill that suppresses ovulation, but then you take the sugar pills to have this fake blood. But menstrual blood, when you're actually naturally cycling and having menstrual blood, that has stem cells in it. That was about to give all the nutrients to the egg with these stem cells that turn into your brain, your bones, your hair, your skin, like your organs. Like stem cells are the primary cells that can turn into anything that people in this modern day pay thousands of dollars to get injected with.
And we bleed it every month.
We bleed it every month. So it's your own medicine. I am so excited. Like, yes, I'm going to bleed soon.
Yeah, you've gotten me excited to get now I'm like looking forward, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's such a sacred time, and I feel so much more in touch with I feel grounded. So it's like a really great time to just relax and reflect. I have yet to try these sacred taboo methods, though.
Yeah. So my favorite, my top, my favorite one is to use it as a stem cell face mask.
I've heard about this. Apparently, it just really smooths and makes your skin shine.
Yep.
I've had so many girlfriends try it. They vouch for it. This is like their monthly, very deep, nourishing face mask. And also, people pay for a thing called vampire facial, where they literally inject blood out of you. Like, they use a needle, they take blood out of you, and then they like infuse it into your face mask, and it's supposed to completely rejuvenate your skin. And it's like, we don't have to do that. We can just do that naturally.
You don't have to pay $100 or $200.
Yeah, like $300 or more. It's expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, we make it naturally out of our menstrual blood, our amazing uterus, and yeah, this blood is very sacred, and it's medicine. And so yeah, you can put it on your face. What I do sometimes, a lot of women ask me, how long do you leave it on for? I leave it on for until it dries. So kind of like if you to do a clay mask, you leave it on until it dries, and so then I take it off later. Also, it depends what I'm doing in the day. You know, am I around a lot of people, or like, you know, who's not gonna get too freaked out? Or, also, I'm just like, yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah.
You know, now I kind of don't really.
You gotta own it.
Yeah, I don't
There's
really
nothing
care.
to be ashamed of.
No.
Yeah.
But the very first time so I use a menstrual cup.
Yeah, this is another thing.
This is another
Do
thing.
not put toxic tampons into your body.
Yeah.
You know, do not use toxic pads that have these odors that like make you smell good, which, by the way, if you're not smelling all right down there, means you have to balance yourself, you know? That's a whole nother topic to get into.
Yep.
But yeah, the Diva cup is what they call it a lot, and where I'm from in America. I've never heard the menstrual cup, but it is a menstrual cup.
Yeah. Diva Cup is a brand.
Yeah. So I have recently gone into that, and that is, you can leave it in for 12 hours. You like forget that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wake up, I change my cup. And what's great about the cup is that it doesn't affect the microbiome of your womb, of your vagina. And so, whereas a tampon, sorry, is, if you just use the generic tampons, they literally bleach it so that it's white.
Yeah.
So that it's quote unquote sanitary. And then you put that into your vagina. And then you see that like, side effects, don't have it in for too long because you can get toxic shock syndrome.
Yes.
People die from this.
Yes.
Like, you're literally putting bleach in your vagina and killing all this amazing bacteria has its own ecosystem, and you're literally putting bleach into your blood system. Like,
We're poisoning ourselves without knowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So get rid of generic tampons and even generic pads they're bleached, and then you're putting that in that beautiful microbiota of your vagina. And so the cup I love so much. And there's also, if you're not a fan of the cup, I have some friends and clients that don't like it, just doesn't work, the cup, and there are different sizes and things like that. But you can use also pads that are natural. You can also use organic tampons with organic cotton.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's drying, whereas a cup, it doesn't affect that microbiota. It's it's
much safer.
Yeah, it's a lot safer. And you can leave it in for up to 12 hours,
which is amazing.
I wake up, I empty it, but I don't let it go down the drain because it's sacred medicine.
It really is.
So if you're not ready yet to put it on your face, or even putting it on scars, like it rejuvenates your cells.
Way.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so many scars.
And so put it on any of your scars, put it on your face. Yeah, once you take it off, your skin is so soft.
Yeah.
The very first time is like, oh God, what am I doing? But then you're like, oh, hell yeah. Like, this is empowering.
Yeah.
And then you can't wait until your next period and put it on you, and you're like, hell yes. Like, I feel amazing. This is awesome. And, you know, people eat their placenta. This is exactly, it's the
I've been
same
hearing
thing.
about that a lot recently, actually. When a woman gives birth, they will save their placenta, feed it to their baby and themselves.
Yep. Yeah, you can put it in capsules, you can cook it up, but eat it. Like, it is full on just rejuvenation, amazingness. And so, same thing coming
I've
from
also
your
heard
menstrual
if you are unable to, and you're in an environment where you can't, like, do a face mask or utilize your sacred blood during that time, honestly just feeding it to plants.
Exactly.
Like give it back to Mama Nature.
Yeah, it's an amazing fertilizer.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you'll notice your plants are like, woo, give me more.
Honestly, my plants are dying. Maybe I need to do that. You just reminded me.
Give them life.
Yes. I'm getting my moon soon, so
Cool.
that's what I'll be doing with some of it.
Nice. Yeah. And you can even dilute it with water to put it on your plants.
Even better.
Put it on
Okay,
more of your
great.
plants. So, yeah, what else can you do with your blood? Yeah, I mean, gosh, this is something not to do, but I hiked a volcano on day 2 of my period.
Oh no, I did that once too. Actually, it was with my IUD. Oh, I cried so much.
Yeah, I was leaking everywhere. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna offer it to the top of the mountain,
That's
like
beautiful.
in the crater. So, yeah, it's a beautiful time of the month, and it doesn't have to be painful. A lot of women think like.
I thought it had to be painful.
Yeah.
I accepted it. Okay, so let's lead into that. Can you describe to me like what the 4 cycles bring to us? Like how do we feel? How are we predictable? Talk about that. I love this.
Okay. So again, menstruation is your inner winter. Follicular phase is your inner spring. Ovulation is your inner summer, and luteal phase is your inner fall. So in these 4 phases, I like to break it down in how is your mind, how is your body in terms of emotions, and your thoughts will affect your emotions. And then the physical, like what's happening with your digestion, what's happening with your muscles, your joints, and just like spiritual connection as well. Like I say that hormones are the ego, and they're just trying to make you survive and reproduce.
Yeah, makes
Again,
sense.
it's this meat suit that we're in.
Yeah.
That's if you can't survive, you can't reproduce. So
Of course.
number 1 thing is that we need to survive. Number 2, reproduce. So your hormones, we have over 6,000 thoughts a day, like thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, and most of them are hormonal. Again, just trying to make you survive or reproduce. So when you're on your period, this is when all of your hormones are the lowest. And so the main hormones I'm going to talk about are estrogen, progesterone, and we do have some testosterone. Men also have estrogen and progesterone. It's just that they make very little, and we make very little testosterone.
Yes.
But we all have this masculine energy, feminine energy within us. Yin and yang, it's everywhere.
Yes.
So when we're menstruating, all hormones are the lowest. And estrogen, after our periods, will start to rise. But yeah, during our periods, it's when we have the lowest energy. We feel most vulnerable. We feel most sensitive. This is the time where I love to just receive. Allow yourself to rejuvenate, to restore, to relax. All those words, regenerating.
Yes.
And yeah, it's when we're closest to source in terms of, or most connected to source. It's literally the moment where your egg that you've tried to make and get pregnant for a whole month dissolves.
Yes.
And then the moment you get your period, you start making an egg again. And so it's that changing point, that transition.
And that's day number 1 as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. So day number 1 is the day you start your period.
Yes.
That's like the first day of your cycle.
Yes.
Yes.
And full on period, not the spotting that you might have the couple days before, but full day of bleeding is the first day of your cycle. So you start with cycle day 1, and allow yourself to rest during this time. And you can, in this vulnerability and sensitivity, can you turn it into something positive of like, wow, I'm allowing myself to be open and not have these guards up, and allow yourself to be in your feminine, and to receive support, and to just chill out and allow yourself, because if you're overdoing during your period, that's going to affect your energy levels for the rest of your cycle. So it's really important to, when your energy is lowest, to honor that. And to
I
rest.
would work out like crazy whenever I was on my period, because I used to be like a workout fiend. Like I loved it. But then I realized that was not the best thing to do when I started having my courses with you. And that actually helped improve my symptoms during my entire cycle, because I would literally like go all out. So,
Yeah, a lot of us grew up in a society where it's like do, work out every single day, super intensely, high intensity workouts and things like that. But again, most research is done on men, and we need to honor our feminine cycles.
Yes.
And I really want to honor, like, men, I wish equal opportunity to both men and women, but I want to honor men for the masculine that they are and women for the feminine that they are.
Yes.
And
that's beautiful.
yeah, so once you are done with your period, and again, with your period, one more thing is that you lose mainly iron, magnesium, and zinc during your period. So we want to eat foods that are nourishing
Yes.
with iron, magnesium, and zinc, nutrient dense. And since it's your inner winter, think winter foods. Like, this is the time I take myself out for a steak. Like, I'm losing blood, I'm going to eat blood.
Ooh,
And, you know, a lot of people think I'm vegan or vegetarian. You have this like hippie lifestyle, you must be vegan. And I'm like, no, actually I love meat, and I really believe that I can choose where my meat comes from as well. Like, is it from an organic grass-fed?
Very important.
Yeah, like you have the choice.
Yes.
And some people say I'm vegan because I love animals. It's like, well, I love animals too.
Yeah.
And I really want them to be taken care of, and I want to have the energy and the nourishment to be able to give the energy and nourishment to the world. Like, I want every single woman to know this information. It is so vital to our lives.
Absolutely.
So for me, yeah, meat really like allows me to regain that energy. So we want to eat foods rich in iron, magnesium, and zinc. If you are a vegetarian, you can have spinach, dark leafy greens, and add some like lime or vitamin C to it, because then you're able to absorb 20 times more iron, actually. So there's some like nutritional...
So like the meat and stuff?
To the vegetables.
Vegetables, got it. Okay.
So yeah, because there's a lot more iron in...
I use lime every day, so
Awesome.
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, it just helps absorb
I love
better.
it.
And cacao, there's a reason why we crave chocolate.
Yeah, she got me hooked on cacao because I have a chocolate addiction, and that's what I crave at all times during my cycle. It doesn't matter where I'm at, and it actually helped me become healthier, because instead of getting like my daily chocolate bar or something, chocolate muffin, cake, whatever, now I actually quench that with cacao, and it's so much better for me. It's been my coffee replacement, so much energy. It's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Just like having this raw cacao I make every day.
Yeah, for sure. Raw cacao is full of magnesium. And so when we have cravings, it's your body telling you, I'm craving magnesium. They're not necessarily craving like, oh, chocolate or whatever. When you do have a craving for chocolate or spinach or warm foods during your period, like your body's like, I need magnesium. And chocolate is a very high source of magnesium, and your body knows nature. Like, we live in a symbiotic relationship with nature. And cacao has so many benefits. So you just need to know, like, okay, am I going to go for a Twix bar or to get chocolate?
Yeah.
Or am I going to go for raw cacao?
Yeah. Oh, makes your tummy feel better. I have changed my life, honestly, because of it. I love it.
Yeah. And it's, so it's an amazing thing. And yeah, I think in terms of working out, it really needs to be gentle, and you can really work on hip openers.
Yeah, Pauline has this really great like yoga guide called Cycle, and I've been doing it during my cycle, and that has been so helpful, because now you're guided through moves that will help you feel better in whatever part of your cycle you are in. So yoga has been also very instrumental to helping me a lot. Feel a lot better.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, you're welcome. And because it's so true. Like, I truly, I feel so different in a great way, and that has been a big part of it.
Yeah, the top two main things to balance your hormones are stress management and nutrition.
Absolutely.
And yoga is a scientifically proven way to reduce stress and to, really connect with your body. And for me, I call it Cycle. It's the ovulation menstruation cycle.
Oh, I always thought you were like,
Yeah, and that too. It just fit so
well.
Yeah,
it just fits. Okay, now I know.
Cycle, ovulation, menstruation cycle. So it's, again, yoga for each phase of your cycle.
Yeah.
Not going to do Ashtanga every single day. Yes. Ashtanga is really like disciplined and masculine, but and really intense. But I just think, again, like living for the female cycle is like, wow, you live in such flow, and then it's life-changing. And so during menstruation, it's really good to do a yin type yoga, focusing on hip openers. It's when you're in your root chakra, and all of your chakras actually. Chakras are the Indian philosophy of like energy centers.
Yes.
And then you have Western medicine, and then you have hormone glands. And when you just put them and overlap them together, they are one and the same.
Wow.
Your pineal gland is your crown chakra. Your pituitary gland is your third eye. The throat chakra is your your thyroid. Your heart chakra is the thymus. Solar plexus is the pancreas and the adrenals. sacral chakra is your ovaries, and your testes is your root chakra.
Beautiful.
And so even though women don't have testes, we still have masculine energy, and it's that rooting, and so we tap into the rooting. So yeah, yin yoga, menstruation. Let's get into the follicular phase. So in the follicular phase is your inner spring. So all of a sudden, like,
this is like one of my favorite parts of my cycle.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's like, wow,
I'm
you
like,
just
yes.
exited the cave, and now you're like, I'm ready for the world. And so the follicular phase makes us think in the future, because everything the follicular phase, again, your hormones are just trying to get you pregnant for ovulation. And we have this rise in dopamine. So dopamine is this craving neurochemical, and the motivation, and it creates fear as well. Like, it's all interlinked, but we're craving for a reward.
Yes.
And that reward is ovulation. The moment we get ovulation, estrogen goes down, and it's like, okay, we've done the job, and dopamine goes down, and we have less motivation after we ovulate. But that follicular phase is really this, like, wow, this motivation. We have so many ideas. I want to do all the projects. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to travel. I want to do this and that and be spontaneous, and I want to meet people. I'm extroverted. I'm social.
Pauline's gotten all of our friends and us every single time, like, we're in this phase. We're like, oh yes, we're in our follicular phase. Like, we're ready to go out. We're ready to meet boys. We're ready to do whatever.
Yeah.
It's been so fun, just like understanding where we are.
Yeah, for sure. Having hormone cycle awareness is, again, like, you are using your powers.
Yes.
Using your superpowers to be like, okay.
It's also an excuse, like, sorry, I'm being such a bee. Like, I'm in my luteal late phase. Like,
yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Or just like, I just need some space. And it's like, no worries. I'm not going to take it personally.
Yeah.
I understand where you are. And so this follicular phase, so estrogen will be rising up until ovulation, it's peaking. And estrogen is this growth hormone. It makes your brain smarter. It makes your face more symmetrical. It makes your boobs perkier. It makes your body more feminine, more voluptuous. It makes your voice become more articulate and more feminine as well. It makes your muscles grow. It makes your muscle recovery quicker.
So it's a good time to go all out with your workouts.
Totally. Yeah. So, like, all of these things, it's a great time to learn something new. It's a great time to plan ahead, because, again, your brain is making you think, how do I ovulate and get pregnant during that time? So everything, it puts us in this future mindset. So planning ahead, mind mapping, goal setting, trying something new. Like, your brain wants, and your body wants challenges, because we need a little bit of stress to grow.
Yes.
And just like muscle building, we tear the muscle, and that's how we end up growing more muscle. So this is how we just add a bit of challenge. We learn something new. It's that, like, it's that growth phase. Not only growth in your muscles, but also your personal growth, like your livelihood.
Yes.
And this is what I love about the follicular phase. What steps can I make towards my dream and my path? And so, and so your body. This is also when your immune system just rises and rises. So when you are ovulating, you're at your peak of, like, your digestive system is working best. And the closer you get to ovulation is the least hungry you are. So the moment you get your period, already your metabolism goes down, so you're less hungry. Metabolism is the rate at which you become hungry and burn through your calories and whatnot. And you might notice too, when you get your period, like, all of a sudden you poop 5 times a day, or
I didn't know about
flow.
this. I knew it was happening every time I got my period, and I was like, why? And now I understand.
It was a problem for me for a while. Like, I would go visit, I'd be traveling, and then I remember being at my aunt's house, and my cousins, my young girl cousins, were like, why is Pauline always in the bathroom? I'm like, I'm just having diarrhea 5 times a day. Don't worry about me. That doesn't need to happen. Now I know how to manage that. Yeah. And I know that, like, having meat will kind of help, like, slow down the process and absorb the nutrients. And also rice helps.
You're like a walking encyclopedia of, like, what to do when you have this or that during your cycle. It's awesome. I'm always texting, like, Pauline, why is this happening?
Easy, because of this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she always has an answer.
funny. My boyfriend always says that too.
Yeah, you always have an answer. I love it.
So anyways, yeah, that's follicular phase. We get less and less hungry, and we're using our stored fat as energy instead of using food as energy.
Yeah.
So we're really, this is the time when it's the gut healing phase as well. So you can really work on like eating fermented foods, kind of like this Mediterranean style of diet. And you really want omega-3s. Omega-3s you can find in eggs and fish, chia seeds. That really helps the egg maturation, the egg growth. And so, and the less and less hungry you get, like you just want lighter foods anyway. So then we reach ovulation, and ovulation is like the moment in time. It's just like, woo, I'm blooming and I'm here. I want to be seen. Look at me. I'm going to interrupt more because I want to be seen and heard. All the attention is on me. So it's good to be aware. Let's say you go to somebody's wedding and you're ovulating. It's like, don't take the stage. Like, this is the bride's moment, the groom's moment. So it's good to be aware and be modest about that. And it's when you're the least hungry. So if you're going to do a detox, this is really important. If you want to do a fasting or a detox, do it during this time, like the later follicular. So let's say like day 10 of your cycle up till ovulation is the best time of your cycle to do a detox or a cleanse, because one, you're naturally less hungry. Yeah. And let's say you do this detox or cleanse or fasting before your period. You're really hungry. Yeah. And then you actually are doing the opposite for your hormones of what your hormones want you to do. Yeah. And you're turning on fat storage, muscle wasting, bone density loss. Like you're creating more stress in your body because your body's like, what are you doing? I need food.
This is something I learned with you also. Because I was like, oh, let me just fast every morning. Let me do the 16-hour fast or 18. And you're just putting your body into a fight or flight response. And you turn on fat storage. Your period might be more painful because of it. I mean, there's just so many side effects, if you're not really tapping into what you should be doing during your cycle.
For sure. And again, it's like, that's probably based on research that we read that was for men.
100%.
Men have a 24-hour hormone cycle, just like the sun, and they can do the things every single day. And I really love to show the relationship between men and women as a river. Men are the rocks at the bottom of the river. They're like holding the structure. They hold the ground and the direction of where us women, we kind of like flow, and we have our emotions and
that's a beautiful comparison.
And it's we just can't do the same thing every single day. We have 4 different phases and 4 different nutritional needs. So when we're ovulating, this is also the only time of the cycle when your digestion is highest and at its best to actually digest raw food better. Otherwise, like raw food on your period or other times of the cycle, if you get bloated a lot, raw food will do that to you.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And so ovulation, it's great to also focus on phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens are plant-based estrogens. And you've probably heard of this too. Like, is soy good for us? Is it bad? It messes up your hormones. But again, soy is bad, quote unquote, bad for men or phytoestrogens because they actually add estrogen to men. And then for women, it takes away estrogen. So I actually don't like to eat phytoestrogens during my menstruation because all my hormones are low, and I want my own hormones to make its own, to work. And then, but however, a lot of the times when we have PMS symptoms, which can be fatigue, swollen breasts, acne, hair loss, cramping, bloating, anything that you just don't feel good, headaches, anxiety, irritability, depression, a really long cycle, that probably means that you have way too much estrogen. And this can come from external like xenoestrogens, which are like fake estrogens that we find in synthetic materials, anything synthetic that just messes, even the tap water. Your tap water does not filter out all the birth control.
I just recently bought a Terra filter, which for those who don't know what that is just I think it's like charcoal and clay. Yeah. And at a very small level, the water gets filtered through, and it's electrified because now you're passing it through minerals. Yep. And I have cleaner water now.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I have a Terra water filter and a Berkey water filter. Ooh. It takes Berkey I got in the US and I brought it here to Bali, but worth it. Like it, again, it takes out pharmaceutical drugs from the tap water system.
Oh, wow.
And, like,
I'm going to have to ask you about that after this.
so, yeah, definitely take care. Like, where's your water? Water is life.
Yes.
And so,
Something I'm working on.
yeah.
Yeah. I have such a hard relationship with water. It's not something I crave or need. I can go days without it. Like, because I'll have like one water bottle in my house and I'll be like, I have not had any water. But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I have a better relationship with it now.
And water we need to drink for each 22 kilos that you weigh, we need 1 liter of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I've been living in Bali long enough now that I'm like, I forget the pounds and the...
Yeah.
Like,
I have not gotten there yet.
And
basically
ounces.
like 4 liters for me every day, I think, is what I need to be drinking.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I'll
3
drink
4.
like 3 though, but I'm trying to get to 4.
Yeah, 3 is good too. So, anyways, where were we? Ovulation. So yeah, ovulation, when your estrogen is peaking, it's actually good to be eating phytoestrogens because they help you detox any excess estrogen. So this will also help you with the excess estrogen that your liver has to like go through and metabolize. And your liver is like the hardest worker for metabolizing your hormones. Your liver has like over 500 different functions. It's like, and this is a crazy thing about the liver. You know, when a lizard loses its tail, it regenerates.
Yeah.
Your liver does that. You can have a liver surgery and get 2/3 of your liver cut out, and it regenerates to 99% within a week.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how important it is. Your body's just like, this needs to regenerate. You cannot.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. I had never heard that before.
Yeah. So your liver is super important, and it's what metabolizes all your hormones, and it actually needs to go through all of your hormones until you can start your cycle again. So this is why when you add more stress, physical stress, emotional stress, mental stress, environmental or ecological stress, a trauma, like that just adds more to your liver. And so we really need to be eating like liver supporting foods, and your liver loves bitter foods.
I've been hearing about this, especially just like eating actual liver.
Yeah.
I have not tried that, but I have been influenced by so many of my friends that I just gotta do it. Like dried beef liver jerky. Yeah.
Or liver pate is really good.
Organ
as well.
dense or organ like foods are very nourishing, which is hard for me because just the idea of it is like weird. But I understand that it's actually really good for us.
For sure. Yeah, I just had a friend of mine, Natalie Earl, for any of you, Nutrition with Confidence on Instagram, but she just made some thymus glands, like, and I was just like, what? I've never seen that before. And she was eating thymus, and so thymus is your immune booster.
Oh wow.
Immune boosting center. It's what produces T cells to fight off bacteria and viruses. So
cool.
That's your heart center, your heart chakra.
Yeah.
So yeah, organs are amazing. They're amazing, and you can make them taste good. And again, it's something also kind of like your menstrual blood, like. It's just something.
It's all about mindset and education.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to educate yourself, understand that it's good, take off the taboo, relearn all of this stuff in a positive way, and then you'll be good to go. You'll become like the healthiest human ever.
Totally. I think the biggest growth is unlearning.
Yes.
What you think. Yeah. And then you learn this like new way of, I can live like this. I can be happy. I can live pain-free. I can thrive in this video game of life. So yeah, ovulation, eating phytoestrogens, eating lighter during this time is like makes you have like, you can even kind of prolong your ovulation like high for a couple days.
How?
By eating less calories.
Oh really?
So you can be doing like salads, summer foods like salads and fruit. Raspberries are really good during this time.
Great.
And then beware of the post-ovulation estrogen drop.
Yeah, I've figured out how to learn when that happens to me, and I feel it now. I'm like, that's why I feel so down and like out of energy.
Yeah. And it's such a transition from this high of like
it's like jumping off a cliff. Yeah.
And then going into your introverted phase. So now I just remembered about working out in the ovulation phase. Just one thing I want to mention is your joints are more susceptible to injury because we have estrogen receptors in our knees and our Achilles tendons, that if you do like, let's say a yoga pose where your joints are like really like, you know, half pigeon or you're just really deep in a joint bending pose. That's not good for ovulation. So you want to like flex your feet and really engage the muscles during follicular and ovulation. Yes. It's like really the masculine time of your cycle. So estrogen is a yin hormone. It's a feminine hormone, making you more feminine, to be more attractive, to find your mate. And so things on the outside, we do masculine things like being productive.
I always thought that was so interesting.
Yeah.
The masculine phase of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we really focus on like muscle building and engaging the muscles around your joints. So that's how you want to work out with your cycle. And then we get into the luteal phase. So the luteal phase is when your hormones cross their fingers and like, did I get pregnant? I hope so. Let's try. And I'm going to, as the egg, travel from the ovary through the fallopian tube. That's where I would potentially get pregnant. And then I'm going to install myself in the uterus, get all cozy and just in my nest. And, now all this blood is rushing towards me. And, like, I'm getting all warm. And so this is your inner fall, the luteal phase. Yeah. And this is when we make progesterone. And we can only make progesterone if we ovulate. And progesterone is an amazing hormone. There's so many, like, superpowers to progesterone. It sedates you. It relaxes you. And you might think, like, what? But I'm irritated and anxious when I'm in the luteal phase, and PMS-y and all this stuff. But it actually helps you relax.
Interesting.
Yeah. However, we have naturally higher levels of stress.
Yes.
Of cortisol during the luteal phase. And thanks to stress, it allows us to be more aware of our surroundings. It allows us to be just a little bit more like, well, I'm potentially pregnant. I'm going to drive a little slower. I am going to wash my hands more often. I am going to make my home all organized and clean. Yeah. And I don't really want to talk to that stranger because he could be a potential danger or threat to my potential baby. And so we just have this different mindset as if we're pregnant. And so it's really a shift of... going from extroverted daytime solar energy to moon introverted dark energy, and not dark as in bad, but just like fall time and going inwards. And so it's a really good time to be introverted, to allow yourself to be introverted. And I see a lot of women being like, I'm so extroverted, I'm so social. And it's like, sometimes you're introverted. Yeah. We have 4 different personalities in one. Yeah, of course. And so in the luteal phase, we want to have space, but we don't want to feel abandoned. Yes. Yeah. The number one needs in the luteal phase are to feel safe and secure. Because again, you're potentially pregnant. Yeah. And so any feelings that you have, any emotions that come up, shame, guilt, jealousy, greed, they all come down to, do you feel safe? Yeah. Do you feel insecurity?
And that's what we're instinctively thinking all the time. Yeah. Like without even knowing it. Yeah. Just, am I safe at all times?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why we tend to drive slower. That's why cortisol naturally rises. It's to protect us. Yes. And the potential baby. Again, your hormones are literally controlling your life in terms of how do I survive and how do I reproduce. And so this is what I love about like working with the ego and, really loving and honoring the ego and taking care of this physical body, because again, it's the character in the video game. But how can we make decisions that's not based on survival, not on fight or flight or reproduction? Let's say you're ovulating. You're like, oh my God, my body wants to have a kid. But, is he the right guy? Yeah. Maybe not. Okay. There's that like higher self that comes in and makes the rational, or like rational decision, or the higher self decision.
One thing you taught me that I don't think we mentioned is if you're on birth control, it can inhibit you from actually picking the right partner, which I thought was the craziest fact.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I would love to get into that. Yeah. We can right after. Yeah. Right after the luteal phase.
Let's do it.
So
much information.
Yeah. But however, when you're on birth control, it mimics the luteal phase. Oh. So you have naturally higher levels of stress. And another thing, this is like the craziest thing too. The hormonal birth control gets rid of your stress response system. So the stress response system is, okay, let's say you have an external factor of stress, and let's say a car is coming towards you and your brain is like, okay, get out of the way. And so your brain sends a signal down to your adrenals to make cortisol and adrenaline get out of the way. So you get out of the way, cars driven past, you're now safe. And your adrenals will then send a signal back up to your brain to tell you, okay, you're safe now, calm down. And, you know, it's okay. However, when you're on hormonal birth control, that signaling system from your adrenals back up to your brain is non-existent. It's disappeared. So your
turns
whole,
off.
yeah, it's just gone. And so you're holding and storing on to all of that stress for however many years that you're on birth control. And it's really hard to, it's just much harder to deal with stress. And so we tend to be more angry. We tend to be more irritable, anxious, depressed. Like being on birth control also raises your risk of depression by up to 220% coming off. Like that's because all that stress was stored in your body. And now it's like, whoa, I'm finally feeling and allowing this like energy to move, and your hormones are trying to figure themselves out. So yeah, and it does a whole, I'll get into it about how birth control affects us. But I'll continue with the superpowers of the luteal phase. So a lot of women won't enjoy necessarily the luteal phase. That's probably the hardest one. And it's probably my favorite one. It's like, I can finally have, it's when we're more intuitive.
I do enjoy that aspect of the
we're
phase.
more intuitive, we're more creative. It's when both hemispheres of your brain are talking to or like connected, so or more connected, so it allows you to think outside the box and solve complex problems, and to again just really tune into your intuition, your gut feeling, and be creative. Like I love art, I love painting, so for me I'm just like, wow, it's the time when my intuition can really be poured out onto the canvas. And then you'll see my paintings, and they're all like flowers and fertility, and like it's just all about what I love in nature and life, and just like,
I love that. I always paint flowers too.
And so the luteal phase has that, and your brain loves to focus on details. And so now, whereas the follicular phase you're thinking in the future, in the luteal phase you tend to think in the past. So you're really good at making decisions based off the history of like, okay, pros and cons, editing details. Your brain loves to focus on details and analyzing, and just like, just getting into like maybe sewing something like really small, detail oriented. And so progesterone again is a sedating hormone, and it's a yang. In Chinese medicine, it's yang. And so it has that masculine energy. So we do things on the outside that are feminine to balance out the inner masculine. And so now our body is more flexible. Our digestion slows down. So we want to be eating warm cooked foods.
That's something that I've been trying to work on ever since I started working with you, is balancing my digestion during this time, because I naturally just like bloat so much. But I've gotten better.
Good. Focusing on your womb wants to be warm.
Again, I stopped doing ice baths for 5 minutes during this luteal phase.
Good. Ice baths are great during the follicular phase, but again, like luteal phase, it's your womb wants to be warm and safe. And when you put your body in like
a stressful environment,
like, oh my god, why am I in a ice bath
right now?
Like
we're pregnant.
Exactly. Your body's like, hold on, ice baths have a lot of benefits, but again, it's probably not the best time, especially the week before your period. So and it's about keeping warm and doing things more gentle. Your body's more flexible, and your digestion slows down. So working on twists, this is what I teach in Om Cycle Yoga as well. This is the time to focus on twists, and to breathe with your belly, because that really helps with your digestion. You can do a belly massage, and you're doing a clockwise circular motion around your belly.
That helps me so much. Like anytime I have a stomach ache, or I just feel like I need something to help me, I'll go to the belly massage with like coconut oil, and it feels so good, and it helps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, your organs need some circulation, and
they need some love.
And so the luteal phase is an amazing time to self-love, and to be in your feminine, to magnetize, to receive.
That's where I am right now.
Yes. Bring it on. I'm in the post-ovulation estrogen drop right now. I feel it. Like this morning I had the cervical mucus, that was ovulation, and now I'm energy is going down. But again, I'm not taking it personally, and I'm just like, okay, it's time to transition and going from extroverted to introverted. And it's really good to be aware of that, so you don't, again, take it personally and have these, why am I feeling like this? What's wrong with me? I was really happy yesterday. I have mood swings. And and it's really like a lot of the times we're self-diagnosing, or we're identifying with our symptoms. I am depressed, instead of I have feelings of depression during these 2-3 days. You know, and when you have something, it's something that you can get rid of. Whereas when you identify as like, there's a, and you probably know this from Spanish, but like there's ser and estar. There's 2 different ways of saying to be. And one is your condition or location, which is changeable. And then the other one is like how you actually identify. Like, you know, I'm Ruby and I have brown hair. There's things that like don't change. So and these feelings, they're very changeable, and you are able, your mind is so powerful and your body is so amazing and adaptable and also powerful to get rid of all your PMS symptoms and to get rid of your period pains. And by living with your hormone cycle, this is how you can live in flow, pain-free. And enjoy every single phase of your cycle.
Imagine that. I never thought that was possible.
Right?
We're just once again taught to accept that this is fate for the next however many years. You are not a victim of being in pain for the rest of your life. So and birth control is a very like prescribed and given way of like, it's given out like candy, and there's no explanation to like what it will do to you.
And again, and it's not necessarily the doctor's fault, although they could learn about the hormone cycle, but it's a system. Like the pharmaceutical companies own, in a way, and direct what the medical system learns. So all doctors know or learn is what pill to give. And it's not necessarily their fault, but they invest a lot of their money into a system. And it's really hard to go against what you spent in the US, like $200,000 to learn. And to be like, well, shoot, like I just learned not
not how to solve a problem, not just put a Band-Aid over it and hope it's okay.
So, and I mean, Western medicine has its benefits, you know, you need a surgery, like, definitely, you know, but there are just some things that I'm like, I just had a client this morning who told me, I went to a women's circle last night. Most of them were on birth control. One of them was telling me how bad her periods were. And so the doctor told her to have the implant and on top of that, take the birth control pill. Like 2 forms of hormonal birth control.
That is some of the worst advice I've ever heard.
And I'm just like, I'm like not as surprised anymore, because it's just, I've heard it so many times now that and it's ridiculous. Like hormonal birth control they are toxic chemicals. They literally suppress every vital system in your body so that you become too unhealthy to give birth. And it doesn't allow you to be this empowered woman that you were born to be. Like it really makes you think that you were burdened to be a woman, to be born a woman. And it stunts your brain development, it stunts your bone growth, your muscle growth, it gets rid of your stress response system, it changes your sense of smell so that you can't find your suitable partner.
That's like the craziest thing to me.
And it lowers your libido, because you know, if you have a high libido, then you're going to go around and have sex and potentially get pregnant, you know, but like, it makes you so that you're unable to know yourself, connect with yourself, be healthy, and to find love on a like natural magnetizing way. And so it's just, again, it's insane. And this is what my journey was as well. Like I met my last I was on hormonal birth control for 10 years, met my boyfriend who I dearly love and like have so much respect and gratitude for, my ex-partner. But I realized like, wow, I've actually never dated off birth control. And I noticed like later, ironically, he got me this book called Your Brain on Birth Control by Dr. Sarah E. Hill. Amazing book. And I was just like, oh, like what? I chose my partner when I was on the pill, and the pill mimics your luteal phase when you have higher levels of stress, and you tend to choose a partner who is safe and secure, because those are the main needs we have in the luteal phase. And so, and yeah, like with him, I definitely had that security of, yeah, we'll have a nice house, we'll have a good future, blah, blah, blah. But that, then I realized like, wow, every follicular and ovulation phase, I'm not really attracted to him. And ovulation, I don't want to jump on him and have his babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm 31 now, and like,
You want to feel that.
I feel like my body wants to have kids, but I was not wanting to have his kids. And like the smell, and it just wasn't matching. Like
It wasn't there.
It wasn't there. And I was like, well, I can't be with someone that I'm not attracted to for half my cycle.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah. And I love you. I respect you. I'm so grateful for you. You have helped me grow so much, but I want to have kids, and I know you're not the father, and I would want to try dating and see who I'm attracted to at which phase of my cycle. So then I went into this like research and development phase.
Wow, that's so cool.
Like, okay, well, some guys, my body wants to have your baby, but logically, no way would I ever live with you. And then some other guys, I'd be like, yeah, like you tick all the boxes, but my body, like, no.
Not excited. No.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is how you find a soulmate, is someone who you're attracted to at each phase of your cycle, someone who can support you, understand you.
That is so important to know, honestly, because a lot of us, we're not aware of that.
Yeah.
It's not a normal thing that we think of.
Yeah.
It's so true to understand how you feel towards your partner in all of those phases.
For sure. This is why I recommend getting to know someone over the course of a month.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh my, that's so funny. One of my girlfriends was like, I met the most amazing guy. She's 30 and he's 22, and he's like, oh, he just came to the island, and we're so passionate, adventurous, like I'm finally over my ex, and it's amazing. And then a week later she enters the luteal phase, and this 22-year-old young boy is not this father figure, security, safe.
No.
And she's like, yeah, no, I'm just not into him anymore. And it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense. And so it's, again, really important to get to know someone over the course of a month.
We're always changing our minds.
We're always changing our
minds. But it's a cycle, so at least you can predict what it is that you'll feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. And then I, here in Bali, I went to a temple, and the priest, he channeled for me, and he's like, you're thinking about love too much.
Oh, wow.
You're 50% in your head and 50% in your heart, and you need to be more in your heart. And I was like, man, how did you know? Like, I'm literally always thinking about hormones and writing a book about it, and just like analyzing and things. I was like, fine, I'll stop.
Yeah.
I'll stop thinking about hormones or like try to stop as much as possible, and just allow, just be, and, really work on myself. And yeah, after that whole year, like I really worked on the parts of myself. One big thing I did was, what are the top 5 qualities I desire in a partner? And do I have those qualities myself?
I did this once, and I thought it was the best exercise.
Yeah.
Because before I met my current partner, I was single as well. And I said, okay, I'm not exactly ready to meet somebody, but I wanted to be ready when I met that somebody, and I wanted to understand, like, this is the right partner for me. And I did that exercise. I sat down and I journaled, and then I wrote down all the qualities that I wanted in a partner, and I picked the top 5. And then I was like, oh my God, but if I want a partner who's like this, they might want the same from me, and I lack so much in like this area.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, I really need to do some self-work so that when that time comes, I can provide the same thing back. And I did that. And it was one of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah, for sure. So if any of you are looking to find that partner, again, like when you are searching for the top 5 qualities in a partner, like, is it because you lack in something? So let's say for me, one of the ones in my past was, I want them to have financial stability because I didn't have it. I had this like money story of like being scared of money and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I want somebody to be financially stable because I'm not, you know? And then I was like, well, you know what? Then I'm codependent.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
And then you have this insecure relationship or the wrong attachment style, or like a insecure attachment style. And it's just not a healthy relationship. Whereas if you are and embody the qualities that you desire in a partner, you build this relationship with yourself. You love yourself. And then you're at this like high point of, and this is what I did. And literally 2 days before meeting my partner, my current partner, I wrote in my journal, I finally feel balanced in my inner masculine and inner feminine. And I spent a whole year building my business, of doing online group programs and my ebook and all this stuff. And yeah, and then I was like, I finally feel balanced in my inner masculine and feminine. Literally 2 days later, my current partner, who I'm like so in love with, and we're like, wow, you exist. This is insane how we're both.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I love that.
And I love his smell. Like I literally just like lift up his arm and I smell his armpit.
Honestly, I understand. Like I love that you said that, because after you taught me that is a thing, I started sniffing my partner more. And I'm like, I really do love his smell. And then, he'll do the same thing to me unintentionally. And I'm like, we're meant for each other. Yeah. Like we love, even like when we're sweaty, when we come home from the gym, he's like, I love it when like, you're just like this. Like, this is you. I love you. You don't need any perfume. Like, this is your perfume and I love it. Yeah. And it just makes me so happy, because I'm like, this is meant to be.
And you are loved for who you are.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it's really important, I feel, to have that connection with someone in a relationship on the ego level, on the hormonal level, to reproduce, because then you know that you're going to reproduce a healthy, strong child. Yes. In a way, like your bodies are like, yes, but then like, can you have this soul level love and that higher self of co-creating the sacred union that you want to create with your partner?
Totally. Your story is so similar to mine, because while I was doing all the self-work and journaling, this was actually sometime in 2020, so we all had a lot of time at home. So that's when I was home alone for an entire month, because that was just how it turned out for me. So instead of being sad about it, I sat down and I said, every single day, I'm going to learn something new. And I wrote down like 100 things, and I said, this is what I can do this whole month by myself. So that's what I was doing. I was really just working on myself. And right before I met my partner, that's how I guess it like led up into this. And I felt so ready and so secure within myself to get into a relationship, because it's so important to be secure yourself with who you are before you start a relationship with somebody else, because it's not fair for them to go through, that journey with you, when it's important for you to be secure with yourself and what it is that you want, who it is that you want to be. And of course you're going to work on things, but you just need like a good base security.
Totally. Yeah. Again, having that relationship with yourself and learning to love yourself.
So important. Yeah. Self-love is everything.
Everything. And that's what this whole hormone cycle awareness is about. It's self-love and honoring your mind and your body.
Yes. Wow. What an amazing conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pauline. Is there anything else that you would like to bring up?
No, just start learning. Honestly, this is a new wave of information. Yes. Like, it's becoming more and more widespread. Like, this is the time to get on the boat and start learning this stuff. Like, it's life-changing. It's going to improve your life. You're not a victim of your pains for the rest of your life. Like, if you want to really get to know yourself, come off hormonal birth control, wow, that is a reawakening. It's a reawakening. And I really I try to inspire women or empower women to understand how beautiful and how powerful you are. Like, yeah.
We are goddesses.
You are.
Learn to love and discover your inner goddess, because she's there and she's waiting for you to discover her and empower her and make her strong and beautiful, so that you can thrive and have a beautiful life. Yeah. And that's what Pauline helps me do. Seriously. Like, I've done this program with Pauline for now like 3 months or something. And like, I have changed 100%. It's been night and day from the person I used to be to the person I am now, because I now know myself. I know my feminine self. I honor her. I have so much integrity. I discovered so many parts of her that I didn't know that were there. And I still have so much more to go. It's a long journey, but I really do, like, I feel like this goddess now. And I didn't, like, I have so much self-love, and I always have, but there's like a new form of respect that I have for myself and my body and my cycle and who I am as a person and who my hormones are. So it's been such a beautiful journey of discovery for me, and I've learned it all through her. So yeah, is there anywhere that people can find you? Where should they go to learn more about you and what it is that you do?
You can go to my website called balanceyourcycle.com. And you can also find me on Instagram. Honestly, Instagram is where I put all of, just like tips and a lot of information, how to come off birth control, how to understand your emotional patterns and things like that. So I have a lot of cool and deep information on my Instagram.
She does. It's so informative. I love it. I recommend you to go just like look through her feed and start learning.
Yeah. And then I have an ebook. So this ebook is, you can get on my website, balanceyourcycle.com. It is 13 pages, and it basically gives you like a generalized information of what your emotional patterns are, what foods to eat or nutrients to have in each phase, what movements for your physical body, like, you know, exercise wise, what to do. And yeah, you're already going to have such a better relationship with yourself and with and reduce your PMS and feel a lot better. I also give private 2-hour workshop sessions. And then I also have an online group program. So I just started one, but I am working right now on an evergreen course. So it's going to be pre-recorded information so that, you know, you don't have to wait every 4 months to join my live group program that I currently am in. So that whenever you are ready to come off hormonal birth control or learn more about your cycle, optimize your fertility, have more energy, get rid of your PMS, and just connect on a deeper level with yourself, then yeah, you'll be able to join the program and my membership at any time. So yeah, keep up to date on my Instagram, Pauline Gisele, Pauline Gisele, and then, or just go to my website, balanceyourcycle.com.
Amazing. We'll go ahead and link all of the information down here. But once again, you guys, thank you for sitting here and watching our beautiful flowing conversation all about owning who you are as a woman, balancing your hormones, empowering yourself and discovering yourself and going on this beautiful journey. And once again, thank you for coming here and sharing your beautiful light with us and all your ever-growing knowledge. I love just picking her brain. I always find out something new every single time. All right. Well, thank you guys. If you guys enjoyed this episode, watch out for the next one. I'm going to be focusing more on health and wellness and women's health. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thanks so much. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.
Bye.